Olivia Hollaus for Boca magazine, and thank you for joining us on another Facebook chat. I'm super excited because today we are going to get to speak with the winner of our socially distant summer photo contest, Jeff Romance. So nice to see you, Jeff.
Hi, nice to see you, Olivia. Thanks for
Congratulations.
having me.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You know, we received so many wonderful entries and the photos were fantastic. But the judges unanimously picked your photo as the winner. And I have to say that the judges, they picked the top three purely on just the photo and the caption. They had no idea who was behind the lens. So, I mean, unanimous, that's a pretty big thing.
Yeah, that is impressive. I looked at the other finalists and there were some really good photos. I'm sure it was a tough time deciding. So I'm very flattered, very honored that you guys chose me, especially unanimously. And, you know, when you have good subject matter, it makes us look a lot better. So I can't take all the credit. It was a great opportunity and great people I was working with. So it made the whole thing come together.
That's so great. Well, do tell us a little bit more about your photo. I mean, I am holding it here. We have posted it on our social media, on our website. This photo contest was in partnership with the Boca Raton Historical Society and Museum, so they also shared it. So this has been going around, but tell us a little bit more about this photo.
Well, the photo itself, it was one of the retirement communities right on St. Andrews, and I had been, you know, my side job is a sports photographer, freelance sports photographer, and because of COVID, I really wasn't able to work anymore. You know, I would typically shoot professional sports and college sports in South Florida, and because I wasn't working as far as shooting sports, I really focused on doing some things that kind of told the story about COVID, you know, from empty mall parking lots with just a security vehicle to empty beaches and, you know, just something that would tell the story. You know, I took a lot of pictures of locked gates where parks were, and, you know, just to tell the story. And just my wife happened to be driving home down St. Andrews and saw a vehicle parked where there's normally not a vehicle parked, and, you know, saw people there hanging out, and she came home and told me, and immediately I grabbed my camera and went back out and parked across the street, had a run over, and just started talking. You know, I had no idea what was going on, and it was basically, as you could see from the people, it was a husband and wife and mother that were outside the fence, and they were sharing dinner and dessert and some wine with their parents that were in the retirement community. And I just started talking to them like that. Yeah, they won't let us in. You know, they weren't allowed to visit in person, but they weren't going to let that stop them from meeting. So what they did, they just did their social distance dinner party. And, you know, they had done it. This was probably the third one they had done. I just had never seen it before, but they did it the same way. They set up tables and, you know, they brought, you know, dinner, dessert, bottles of wine. And literally, I probably took pictures for 10 minutes. I was with them for probably an hour, just talking with them. They were really neat people. And just to hear their story about how they, you know, were persevering through this tragedy and, you know, all the complications that come with COVID and what we're dealing with now, but they weren't going to let that stop them from seeing their family, you know, and they were still maintaining a safe distance, and, you know, they were respectful of that, but, you know, they were just really neat people, and, you know, you could feel the love in the photos, just like they were having a great time. And, you know, sometimes I would be talking with one family member and the rest of them would just be carrying on as if they were just at a regular get together at a restaurant or somebody's house. And it was just a neat feeling to see the love that they had, and they weren't going to let this stop them from seeing each other in person.
Right, and at the same time, you made some new friends. And, you know, there is a gentleman you just told me, the gentleman behind the gate, you know, he sadly just passed away, right?
Yeah. His name was Max Nemeth, and his daughter, who was in the foreground of the picture. You know, we ended up becoming friends, and, you know, when I told her I was submitting the photo, and, you know, we both agreed that it was just a really great tribute. When she told me her father had passed due to complications from COVID, you know, kind of, it really helped tell the story of, like, you know, this is what it was all about. You know, people are suffering, but people still trying to get together and, you know, be with family and be with loved ones in spite of, you know, everything that's going on. And I just felt it was a really nice tribute to them. And, you know, she told me a little bit about her dad, and it was just a really touching story. I was glad I could, be with them to capture that, because that's something they have now. That's a memory they have. And even before this competition, I had sent them a bunch of photos from that day, a bunch of, just different types of photos, so they could have that as a memory, because that's, that it might be the last picture that she had of her father. And, it just, you never know when you're a photographer, what you're capturing, and you're trying to tell the story. And when I took the photos, I told them, I'm not here. Don't think about me. Just go about how you guys would be acting. And, you could really feel the love that was there that day. And, to be able to share that with them, with that family, and especially since, her father passed, shortly after the photo, it really meant a lot to me, because it said you try not to be a part of the story, but you want to tell the story and share that with the people. And that's really, what making memories is about with your camera. It meant a lot to me too.
Yeah, you're capturing a moment forever. And that's one of the things that the judges felt, that you really encapsulated the photo contest, what it was all about. And another thing that a judge mentioned was she was very impressed by all the details within the picture, such as the lock on the gate. And every time you look at the photo, you find a new element. Is that something that stood out for you as well when you took the photo?
Yeah, it really was. Like, you wait around to see, and I had taken that picture from several different angles, high angle, low angle, just to see. And you can kind of tell in the background that the sun was setting behind them, which is always a challenge when you have a backlit photograph for a photographer. But there were a lot of good props in the photo, the food, the desserts, the bottles of wine. And so, like, I would just sit there, and when I would see them doing something, I would, get up when I saw him stand up to pour more wine, that his mother-in-law wanted more wine. I'm like, oh, that's going to be a great picture, because, pictures of people just sitting there talking. But when you add that element, and it just really helped tell the story. You could, everybody can put themselves in that situation. It's just a family dinner party, after dinner, having a glass of wine, just, enjoying that small talk with loved ones. And yeah, so it really helped. And, to see the fence separating them, it's a powerful image. I mean, it really, rings true about how people were dealing with this ordeal, and, suffering, and not being able to be there in person, and what they were willing to do. And, I'd even asked them, do you guys get in trouble? They said, yeah, security came over and wanted to make sure we were staying far enough away. But, they kind of laughed at that, but they're like, yeah, we're being safe, but we wanted to see each other. So.
Yeah. Now, this photo, was it taken with an actual camera or an iPhone?
Yeah, it was. I did, because I was, when I'm running about town, I will use my iPhone 11, because it does have a great camera. But it was shot with a Nikon D5, so props to Nikon. But yeah, because I was home, I had my gear, and just grabbed a wide angle lens and my Nikon, and we're out the door. So yeah, it does help. I mean, you can get great photos with an iPhone, but it does help to have the right gear to, to get the right settings, and, shoot it high enough resolution so I could deal with the sun behind them was very tricky. So, I did, obviously post-processing and editing the photo too. So what, it does help to be a professional photographer, to, have the skills and tools to make it look good. But yeah, so it was, I put everything I had into it, because it really meant a lot to me too.
That's really great. And, lastly, what do you hope that this photo exudes?
The main thing, I was really glad that Tiffany, and she shared that her husband and her mom, they all loved the photo. And that's the main thing. When you're capturing people, you want to tell the story. And, it's not always good news. I had done a photo essay over at Boca Helping Hands when they were giving out meals. And, they're powerful images, because it's not a subject we take lightly. And, the fact that it could be a celebration, literally and figuratively, that meant a lot to me, because I knew it meant a lot to them. And when she saw the photos, she was very emotional. And even when she had told me that her father had passed, you could see and hear and feel that it meant a lot to her to have that as a memory. So the fact that I could help them celebrate, a good memory, one of the last memories she had of her dad, and capture that, and she'll have that forever. And, it meant a lot to me it means a lot to me and a lot to other people.
Well, this photo has so many layers to it, Jeff. So thank you so much for sharing with us. And again, congratulations.
Thank you, Olivia. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad to be a part of Boca Magazine, and, for such a great cause. And, I look forward to seeing it in the magazine, and hopefully, will mean a lot to Tiffany and her family too. And, it's just a good memory for everybody involved, I think.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Jeff. And to our viewers, thank you for joining in. Stay well, stay healthy, and continue to enjoy the little things in life, just like these 5 did in this photo. So thank you so much.
Yeah, that's great advice. Thank you, Olivia, for having me on. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeff. Bye.
Bye-bye.